Some of the most challenging issues in psychotherapy are unsurprisingly linked with the distressing experiences endured by someone who is dealing with the toxic effects of an abusive partner, parent, or family member. The emotional suffering can be intense and dysregulating, experienced as states of hopelessness, depression, unremitting worry, or anxiety. As part of the survival system, you may find yourself at times shifting into maladaptive patterns of self-doubt and self-sacrifice, forfeiting your needs, muting your joy, losing your grip on an otherwise sturdy internal self-advocate, weakening your confidence, and compromising your most authentic voice. As an expert in narcissism, it is not unusual for me to meet partners and family members who've been plagued by acts of betrayal, abuse, neglect, subjugation, gaslighting, disregard, control, and contempt. Living in a toxic family where non-negotiable borders are constantly being violated can set the stage for the human survival system to launch coping reactions, such as enmeshed loyalty at all costs, submission to unrealistic expectations and burdens, self-sabotage and subjugation, intense anger, or intense inhibition of feelings. These maladaptive patterns are formed early in a child's core development when emotional needs are not adequately met and noxious experiences construct the framework for a child's self-concept, along with biology and temperamental makeup, to become the lifelong automatic responses to ongoing familiar and familial threats. Therefore, I could not be more delighted that my colleague, Dr. Sherrie Campbell, has written this extraordinary book. In Adult Survivors of Toxic Families, her voice is clear, beautifully eloquent, and thoughtfully metaphoric, coming from the wisdom she lived of experiences both personally and professionally. Sherrie gives us a raw and gracious glimpse into her own personal life challenges, inclusive of poignant struggle and resolute strength, while sharing bold and essential strategies for healthily adapting and recalibrating the embedded biased messages and emotionally warped thought patterns that arise from repetitive exposure to damaging life scripts. Sherrie reminds us that no family is perfect, and that painful family issues can remain with us long after the actual interactions have happened. She shows us that while strife and disagreement are part of human interactions, we must employ critical discernment between typical negotiable conflicts and unsustainable toxic relationships where boundary setting is mandatory for emotional health and well-being. This book assists in the art of limit setting, rethinking and reassigning the frequency and proximity of contact with toxic family members. By brilliantly shining light on the most powerfully relevant issues and painfully hard-held secrets that so many suffer with and endure throughout their lives, Sherrie invites you to open a door to a world where your grief can be embraced and carefully processed. It is a world where you might not have to keep fetching your heart from the lost and found, and where you can finally take the pen in hand to be the author of your own life.